begins! The final trial! Go forth for Utopia.
Oh, Ed.
Id had become a dragon and vanished into the somber skies. His roar, which echoed like a distant peal of thunder, electrified me with sadness.
Can't believe it. I thought if we beat Angramanyu, we'd be free to go on our merry way.
No kidding! Why did Id have to go off and become Bahamut?
Right. In which case...
Hey, what are you thinking about, Roland? It's like you've got all your gears whirring.
It's starting to come together now. Especially if she used a mind sealer on him.
The Mind Sealer is what they used to rob Lyria of her free will. What does it have to do with Bahamut?
Everything. Lilith and Bahamut, destruction and rebirth. Everything is linked.
How about giving us the gist?
Essentially, it comes down to why Lilith failed to wake Angramanyu 15 years ago. I heard the Sky Realm's Bahamut appeared after sensing an overwhelming astral presence. Perhaps that was more than rumor.
You call that the gist? I'm even more confused.
Sorry. 15 years ago, Lilith summoned Angramanyu. At the same time, Bahamut manifested to face her. But this was not the same Bahamut you all know. Let us call it Bahamut Versa. It sensed the unfathomable power of Angramanyu and consumed it.
Stopping Lilith in her tracks. But now... Perhaps, to remove Bahamut from the picture, Lilith trapped the Primal inside Id, using the Mind Sealer.
Okay, but that doesn't explain why she suddenly freed Versa. Does she want to wreck the skies, or what?
She once told Id that she would destroy the world to bring about its rebirth.
Versa is more than capable of forcing reincarnation upon the Sky Realm. In any case, we know one thing for sure. If we leave Versa to its own devices, it will be the end of all life as we know it.
You gotta be kidding! How are we gonna defeat a world crusher? And what's gonna happen to Id? You aren't asking us to kill him, are you?
Not gonna happen.
Thank you. He doesn't deserve death.
Huh. Still got a debt to settle with that punk. Can't let him off so easily.
How do you know Id's still in there?
Even Bahamut's got nothing on Id.
Exactly. Guy with a stick that far up his butt? Even an apocalyptic dragon couldn't push him down.
Even if we can't get through to him, he'll survive a beating. He trounced us, right?
I've been around for a long time, but you Sky Dwellers never cease to surprise me. I never would have dreamed that a single crew could save Tempeal. Or pacify Excavalion. or defeat Angra Mainyu, but you've taught me that it's not longevity or physical strength that's important. It's the power of your heart. You have my complete faith. I believe that nothing in all the world will keep you from saving your friend.
It's settled. We snap Versa like a piñata till it coughs up in. Yeah!
Yes.
Oh no! Looks like we're up.
Buy from me and you'll agree. This bread is the bee's knees.
Welcome! If I don't got it, you don't need it.
Don't mind if I do.
Thank you so much.
A fine hello to not everyone gets to see the good stuff, you know. Thanks for the business. Need something?
As the bond between us grew, so did the cruelty of the experiments they performed on Lyria. Lyria doesn't belong here. No living creature does. The shining empire I served now became to me a place clouded by doubt. Day after day, a battle raged within me, between the knight loyal to her flag and the guardian who wanted to set a sad girl free. Then, one day, a memory of Lyria's response on the roof broke through like a clear ray of light.
Really? You'll show me this endless world?
I had made a vow. There was no more question where my allegiance lay. I took her hand once again, this time not to simply gaze at the sky, but to leap into it. And I did it for myself as much as I did it for her. Sometime after the commotion at Tempil, life in Folca began to struggle towards normalcy. The breeze was soft and welcoming. I'd been blind to the city's charms before, focused as I was on rescuing Lyria from the Church of Avia. The sun watched over the victims of Furikin's rage as they raised new homes for themselves from the rubble. But once scars have set in, they are slow to fade. Here and there, the children of Tempeal labored with tools too large for their hands. I offered my aid, but the children said their work was their responsibility.
As long as you're sure you'll be okay.
Some distance away, a small boy burst into a red-faced fit. Lyria and I rushed over, hoping to be of help.
The wind. Riding aboard the Grand Cipher, soaring across yet another cloud bank, I felt a pang of envy. The wind goes where it pleases, and it arrives when it may, a quality I have long sought to adapt to my fighting style. Here I stood in comparison, shackled to my duties as captain of a knightly order. Oft have I imagined the brighter futures I might have discovered, if only I were faster, more like the gale. Had I risen like a storm front, I could have prevented wars. Had I rushed like a squall, I could have circumvented tragedy. But as the wind continues flowing forward, so too does the passage of time. Idle ponderings would change nothing. I had exchanged my freedom for the greater good. Quietly, I repeated a promise I made long ago. Henceforth, I shall endeavor to combat adversity, so much as I can, for as long as I live. Happily, this hasn't been a hard course to follow, for it runs parallel to the path of the crew, gracious hosts and, on occasion, lively companions.
I want you to broaden your horizons for the betterment of our kingdom.
I now see the wisdom and kindness behind King Carl's decree. For it was my journey aboard the Grand Cipher that taught me how to cast control to the winds, to ride unbound and at the mercy of the gales. When I was a boy, my best friend's parents were killed by wyverns. After witnessing the depth of his grief, I decided I would become a knight. I would protect the kingdom from monsters and the tragedies they wrought. But there was one massive wall standing between me and my goal. It was not aptitude, for I had some talent with the sword, but the station of my birth. At that time, Fiendrock was a kingdom run by its aristocracy. Commoners were restricted to a life of labor, and the knightly orders were composed entirely of noble houses. Immediately I was rejected, told that I could offer my sweat to the crown, but not my blood, for it lacked the proper lineage. I was not deterred. Who was to say that our stone-walled villages could not breed warriors as well as our gold-gilded courts? I studied, I trained, and I worked harder than any man had ever worked to become a knight. In the end, my efforts bore fruit. Siegfried, who at the time was still in the service of the king, understood my plight and changed the course of history. He allowed me into the order of Black Dragon Knights. But uneasy rests the commoner with new acquired titles. The nobility would only be too eager to dismiss me over the slightest misstep and prevent the chivalrous orders from being contaminated by peasant filth. I could not fail. The weight of my people and the future of the kingdom spurred me. I had to become the perfect knight. My ascension was not easy. If given a choice, I might have chosen a different path. But when I had at last emerged from the crucible of trial and tragedy, I was a changed man. I was the captain of the White Dragon Knights.